Are these the best pro-painted miniatures ever painted? So a friend of mine sent me this. This was a bag he had in a box of some old RTB01 Marines. I do apologise for laughing, but they are quite amusing. So the RTB01 Space Marines in Mark 6 armour were the first plastic Space Marines released by Games Workshop. And as I just said, these Marines came in the first plastic Space Marine box, which is... That baby is trying to scream a lot today. He obviously wants to get his hands on these priceless miniatures. So, like I was saying, these plastic Marines came in the RTB01 boxed set. Anyway, that's enough waffle and screaming. Let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so we have here the bag of goodies I've been sent, and the bag has a nice label on here. It says Rogue Trader Space Marines, hashtag number 63 E18. Or is that supposed to be £18? And also A13. And as we can see, there's quite a few Marines in there, along with a few other things that don't look like Space Marines. Anyway, let's open this up and see what we've got inside. Okay, so our first thing out of the bag is this young man. This Marine appears to be painted in a very thick blue paint. He is an RTB01 Space Marine. He's got a lot of sort of melting of sorts going on down here. They've glued a knife to the back of his shoulder, so he won't be able to open his arm up anymore. His backpack is attached. His bolter is also attached with the bayonet stuck on the back end facing the wrong way, so that's going to be quite a hard bolter to use. He also has a fair few packs and things and pouches, and he has a power glove or power fist on this hand, which is fused to his leg, and he also has something in this hand. It looks to be a magazine or something. So that is the first Marine. Next up, we have this. This doesn't look to be a Space Marine to my eye. It looks to be some sort of Goaty deer thing. If anyone recognises this miniature, then please let me know. The base is a bit dusty, although it is in this rather fetching white and blue scheme, so it could be a World Eater's goat or deer. I think it's a deer, actually, due to those antlers. Maybe this is a wood elf deer. Oh dear, as it were. Next up, we have another blue Space Marine. This one could be a Crimson Fist or Ultramarine. He is in the normal pose, although he looks to have a sort of penguin from Batman hand vibe going on there. It seems to be some sort of flipper holding on to the bottom of the magazine, the bolter there. His neck has completely melted and fused to the side of his chest there. It really is quite interesting how they glue these together. Not sure what glue has been used. His backpack is intact, and he also has pouches. Nothing's glued on in a weird way this time. You can see right in the back there that this appears to be one of the original green sprues. Don't see many of the green ones around nowadays. We could probably clean this one up and use it. Next up, we have, I believe this is a Necromunda base. We have a few of these already. Next up, we have another Space Marine, and this one is carrying what I think is a bolt pistol. A very nice looking bolt pistol, and an angry fist in his left hand. Some sort of red dry brushing or washing action going on with this Marine. His shoulder pad nubs have also been painted in a red scheme. and there are some red highlights on his backpack, which are very interesting indeed. No packages or anything on this Marine, although there is one mighty large mould line on his right leg. Next up, we have another Marine. This time, it's a Marine holding on to another Marine's helmet or head, who knows, and he has a power fist. Maybe he punched his head off. The paint isn't quite as thick on this one, although you can still see it's thick there on the glove. There's very little definition between those armor plates. The backpack is still in its green colour from off the sprues, so the previous owner hasn't bothered painting that, and you can still see a tint of green coming through the power glove. Someone had a fantastic time assembling this Marine, I reckon. Alrighty, we have, I thought it was gold for a moment, we have an assembled but not painted Marine, very similar to the last one. He has his bolt pistol and everything here is intact. There are a few large mould lines, and I can't remember what they're called, where they're cut off the mould, sprue points, something like that. There's a couple on the backpack, a couple on the shoulder pads here. He's starting to yellow and giving it a strange sort of bone look. It's quite interesting, to be honest. This one's quite clean. We could definitely salvage this guy. Oh dear. Next up we have a man who has quite literally been cut in half. Just a pair of legs, and these appear to be painted as ultramarines. I guess his body might be on the drink, because he could be considered legless. Next up we have, a name on here. STD, I think that says standard, Marine standard, but this guy has yet another bolt pistol. Maybe it's an assault squad member of sorts, and he has another holstered pistol on the side here. Again, some of the equipment is unpainted, yet we appear to be on an Ultramarines blue base. I wonder if they just wanted a green effect, or if they didn't have time to finish the paint job. There are no fusings of the neck on this one from what I see. Next up we have a nice grey Space Marine. And we have another name. It's Field Med. I assume this means Field Medic, and this could be an apothecary. And he, again, is armed with a bolt pistol. He has his backpack intact, although heavily fused to his body there. We have a nice white shoulder pad and some interesting black painted eyes. The paint, I think, on this looks thicker than it actually is due to the strange glossy marbling effect going on. So when I was opening this little bag, you can see a little bit of writing on there from the previous owner. And it says Rogue Trader Space Marines, and if you're enjoying this video then please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. That means you, Paul. If you are enjoying the content here on the channel then please consider joining the Patreon, the link to which is in the description below or up here somewhere. Next up we have a very glossy Marine, and this one has a logo on his shoulder pad. It's a lightning bolt, I think, and this one has a fantastic knife with a hilt which is painted brown, a wash of sorts on the backpack there, I believe, and again this one has a holstered bolt pistol. Again, I think this, well, it probably isn't a Ultramarine, but it does have that awesome chain bayonet on the front of the Umbra pattern bolt pistol there. 10 internet cookies if you can guess what chapter this Marine is from. Oh, and I must say I do like the nice light blue base rim. Fantastic. One of everyone's favourite Marines now, it's the missile launcher carrying Marine, and from this angle it appears to be a bit of a mess. But a lot of that is just due to the painting going on. It's all very black and it's not very readable. However, from my angle I can actually see this. This looks like it could clean up okay. However, he does have about 16,000 spare missiles stuck around the back of his body there, but I believe we could pull them off and clean this Marine up quite well. Always found it interesting how the arm attached to these old missile launchers, he can't see at all where he's firing, and there's a lot of messy parts going on here. Next up we have another white Space Marine. I think that's a eagle painted onto there, and we have a lovely gold stripe down the front of the helmet there. Again, no bolter. He has a power fist and just a clenched fist, and his bolter is attached to his backpack, and the bayonet is on the correct way around. This white is quite thick, but I think that would strip off quite easily, and again there's no mass fusion going on with any glued on parts. The bolter being removed from the backpack I believe would be the hardest fix. Yet another blue Space Marine. This guy appears to be doing his best Marty McFly impression, looking at his watch. Again, he has a power fist. His backpack is intact. No packs on him this time, apart from the backpack, and no mass fusion going on. So this one, again, looks quite easy to clean up. Here we go. Not sure what's going on here. We have another gold... Oh, it's Captain, according to the base rim there. And this might be an attempt at the Captain's logo. This guy, again, is armed with a power fist and a heavy weapons holding arm by the look of things. His backpack is intact. However, we have this thing on the bottom. I've no idea what that is. 10 internet cookies, if you can tell me what that is. It might be a pair of binoculars, a view scope of sorts, as it were. Marvellous. Next up, we have a black Space Marine, and he is a Codicier. So this guy, I believe, is a librarian. And he has a bare head, something we've not seen yet in this set. Again, no main weapon, but he does have the heavy weapons arm and a holstered bolt pistol. The backpack is intact with this nice magenta sort of finish going on in areas, and also on his shoulder pad, and he also has what looks to be like a chain bayonet in a pouch, although that might be some sort of Auspex system. Marvellous. Coming towards the end of the package now, we have this Marine. He actually has a bolter, although there's a lot of muck going on with the end of the barrel there. It looks like it's sort of blistered up. I think maybe something was glued on there at some point, but not anymore. The rest of the Marine seems pretty normal. His backpack is missing. You can see there where the backpack has been removed. He also has a few packages, including that view scope again, and a nice combat knife of sorts. Does he have? No, he has the normal fist. Marvellous. Next up, we have another pair of legs. Not much to say about that, although this looks to be painted while... Oh no, maybe these were the blue plastics. I don't know. No, it has been painted. So they've painted the top of the waist joint there. Interesting. Here we have, it's very hard to hold on to, it's quite small, it's just one of the heads, and you can see just how small and beaky like these old Marines are. The eyes don't even seem to be sculpted in, they're more of a notch out. But these are very interesting to look at nonetheless. I do apologise for the dirt underneath my fingernail. Here we have the chest, probably goes with those legs we saw a moment ago. Again, this time it's been painted all over. Looks like this was once a green sprued Marine. Do like the red dry brushing going on the cables there. Very snazzy. Okay, and here we have a Marine with no legs, but 2 bolters glued together with that scanner thing on the top. Maybe this is some sort of early storm bolter or combi bolter conversion. The backpack, again, is black with these nice magenta finishes to it, and this one definitely broke at some point, so maybe those legs we saw earlier, here they are, maybe this was all part of the same marine, something like that perhaps. Not sure if we could clean this one up, but the backpack is definitely usable. So that was my little sack of RTB01 Space Marines with a couple of extras in there. What did you think of those? I think they're very interesting and fun, and I do like looking at old paint schemes. They were probably better than what I would have done back in the day. Did you ever buy any of these? I never bought the RTB01 box, but I bought the later box of the same Marines that only came with 10, and I think that was just called the Imperial Space Marines box, and that was £5, I believe. If you did have them, how did you paint them? So my first ones were painted as Ultramarines using an old Anan, who's Anan, using an old dark blue using an old dark blue paint known as Moody Blue, and I don't think they make that anymore. It was quite a nice dark blue colour. So how do you think these compare to the new Mark 6 Marines? Anyway, let's have a little quick look. Here we go. As you can see, they're quite a bit smaller. They look like children, like screaming children downstairs. Let's pop him back in his sack. If you want to see some more Oldhammer videos, and I know you do, check out the playlist up here somewhere. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.